Is Sharon Judy. Sharon has been a Toastmaster for 9 months, and she joined Toastmasters in order to become a more poised public speaker. Today, Sharon will be giving her 6th speech from the Competent Communicator Manual, which is vocal variety. The objective of this speech is to use volume, pitch, rate, and quality to reflect and add meaning and interest to her message. The title of her 5 to 7 minute speech is Friends Till the End. Please join me in welcoming Sharon.
How many of you have besties, BFFs, bros, or best friend? Show of hands. Okay. I actually have 2. As you have probably been able to ascertain from my previous speeches, I'm a very outgoing, extroverted person, and I gravitate toward people even if they don't want to be gravitated toward. Don't understand quiet people in the least. As a matter of fact, I run through all the signals, all the red lights, not understanding that they're not talking to me. I'm doing all the talking. But today I'm going to talk about my best friend, Tina. Tina and I met at a women's conference at church several years ago, about 20 years ago, and we instantly just meshed. She is the polar opposite of me. When I say the polar opposite, I mean the polar opposite of me. We'll walk into a room, and this is a true story, every time we're together. I'll go straight for the center, and I'm just thinking I'm the hostess with the mostest. It doesn't matter if it's my party or anyone else's party. And Tina will find a corner to sit in. And she's completely satisfied with that. One of the things I came to find out is that with her being the polar opposite of me, we don't compete with one another. She's happy to allow me my space, and I give her her space. So through the years, we have been on many adventures and ventures together. Some of them ended well. Some of them not so well, almost ended our friendship because of the way they ended. But one in particular that comes to mind is she had invited me to go kayaking. Let's preface this by saying I, Sharon Judy, do not swim. But because she had said yes to everything I had asked her previously, without hesitation, thinking how bad can it be? Or what's the worst that can happen? Well, let me tell you. We arrive in Newport Beach. Instructor sets us down for about a 30-minute instruction before we go out on the water for this 3-hour tour. If you ever watched Gilligan's Island, it's a 3-hour tour. Ours almost ended the same way that Gilligan did. I thought I was never going to get off the island or get out of the water alive. The instructor says to us, the only time that anyone has ever tipped over the kayak in the 15 years that I've been instructing this class and teaching this class is one guy. Just one guy in the 15 years that I've been teaching. And he was showing out for his girl. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I know there's not going to be any showing out on my part because, did I mention I don't swim? So he assures me, you put on the life jacket, buckle it up. If you do happen to fall into the water, you're going to come right back up, right? So I'm agreeing to him and everything. I'm sitting there nodding. I'm paying attention to every word. I mean, I'm hanging on to every word, just paying attention. Finally, the kayaks go out into the water. Now keep in mind, it's just myself and my friend Tina and this instructor. We all have our kayak. So we're enjoying the animals on the water, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is great. It's so peaceful out here. Maybe I should learn to swim. Next thing I know, I'm under the kayak. Completely under the kayak. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't think this is the way things are supposed to be, but because the guy said no one else has ever tipped over this kayak, surely I must be dreaming. Just as he had instructed, or just as he had promised, because I'm wearing the life jacket, I eventually emerged. And now I am panic-stricken, but I'm not flailing or yelling or screaming or anything. I think I was more in shock because of what had just happened. Took me a few minutes to get my bearing to realize I was actually underwater. So he says to me, I'm going to tip your kayak upside right. I'm going to let you get into the kayak with me, and then I'm going to have you get back in yours. Thinking to myself, no, the heck you're not going to put me back in mine once I'm in yours. I'm holding on for dear life. My kayak comes back upside right. I'm sitting behind him, and I'm thinking to myself, this really can't not have happened to me, because I think I mentioned before, I don't swim. I can hear my girlfriend Tina screaming in the background, oh my God, her husband's gonna kill me. Thinking to myself, if I survive this, I'm going to kill you. And I don't have to worry about him. So a few minutes later, we finished our tour, finished our 3-hour tour. We get back to land, and the other thing I didn't know about kayaks, first of all, they're not, this one wasn't motorized. I don't know if they are motorized kayaks, but the water, the current pushes you on land. After a few tries, we finally got close enough for me to get out. And there's this group of young women, and they're laying on the beach, they're tanning and everything, and they asked me, oh, were you out enjoying your adventure? I'm like, no, I was not out enjoying my adventure. So I told them what happened. I said, my best friend got me out here, and I almost died. Of course, I was very dramatic about it. I almost died. And she says, they said, well, you can join us. So we kind of laughed about it. The drive home was very, very quiet. I'm shivering, I'm soaking wet, and Tina is continuing to say, I'm so sorry. She's apologized. I'm so sorry. So I want to leave with you 3 things to ensure that your friendships last. First of all, know your limitations. If you don't swim, don't go on the water. Number 2, if you do decide to venture out and do something extra special, make sure you have identification with you that says, for next of kin or accidents, please notify, and the person's name that you want to notify in case of emergency. My 3rd bit of information to share with you is never go out with Tina Rosado. She will kill you.
Thank you, Sharon and Melissa, for your speeches. Both kind of similar.